Hello, hello. Welcome back to part 2 of the Terramitty Guide. In this part, we'll be using a lot of the stuff from the previous parts and just showing you generally how to actually beat some of these bosses, right? First off, let's start with the first boss in the mod pack, Gob, King of Gnome. You can find Gob pretty much in any biome, but in a very rare structure called the Court of Gnomes. You'll often find well regular gnomes here around the structure. You can give a diamond to one of these gnomes, and you'll get a gnome hat. Now, what you do as a gnome hat is once you find the structure, you'll find this golden gnome statue which cannot be crafted, but I'm pretty sure it can be mined and moved anywhere else. So if you just have to find him here, then you can break it, bring it back to your base. Now you right click on this golden gnome statue with a gnome hat to summon Gob, the king of gnomes. Now I am just like a little bit over prepared for him, so I'll tell you what gear you should have when fighting him for the first time. I recommend any charms at all, they're really not necessary, and diamond or topaz or ruby, any of the basic armors, diamond level, slightly enchanted, and maybe a gun, maybe a basic shotgun, just to deal with the little minions he summons. He's kind of easy. You just have to really avoid him. I do recommend having speed of some kind and or feather falling because his ground pound attack damages does a lot of damage. That's not it. But and he is also pretty slow. So if you can just move out of the way, he's not that difficult. You have two choices. You can either have ouch. You can either have a speed based build where you run around him, hitting him with your sword, or you can maybe get some ender pearls and try shooting him with your guns. Now I do feel a little bit bad just because of how over spec I am. Anyways, now after he dies, he's gonna drop a lot of things. Some of them you need to continue to drop. He's gonna drop gold, onyx, basically all of the here. He's gonna drop gold, onyx, sapphire, topaz, rubies, diamonds too. He's also gonna drop lost souls, dim light, and Viridium upgrade tables. He's also going to drop his hat, which you can trade to gnomes to get some more drops. He'll also drop his cleaver and his belt. His belt's pretty useless. His cleaver is pretty slow, but it does do a lot of damage. Sorry, his claymore. And he's good to farm. If you have a steady supply of diamond, you can set it up and just go exploring a little bit. You'll find a bunch of gnomes really easily. Once you do that, you can get a decent supply and just have a way to quickly get the basic materials. You'll also highly recommend that you get these the next armors here, dim light armor or iridium armor, right? Just because they're a lot better, and just because they're a lot better, and you're most likely gonna really want to have them for this next boss. Now, the next boss, in the order that it says, is the Super Sniffer. The way you obtain a Super Sniffer, don't mind this, the way you obtain a Super Sniffer is via placing down a sniffer and right-clicking next to him, not on him. Because if you right-click on him with the staff, even if from far away, it'll kill him. It has a chance to kill him. So I recommend doing it next to him. And you'll spawn the Super Sniffer. Now he's actually also the final boss, but that's for later. For him, I recommend again some type of way to avoid fall damage, as well as some basic enchants like protection and maybe even feather falling on your armor, as he's a big step up. Oh boy! Right, now this is his main attacks that you gotta watch out for. That is his Kamehameha. Yes, it is a Dragon Ball reference. The whole mod pack is. Now, that attack does a lot of damage and can one-shot you. You can also teleport around the arena, mainly behind you. Again, shockwave attacks. That's why I recommend Feather Falling. He can also fling you up into the sky. So Feather Falling really is a necessity. He... Oh, ouch. Ow! Anyways, he also has a few other attacks. There's the one that I'm not sure he gets in this phase. Let's just go on to the next phase. Oh yeah, he has multiple phases. Right, so he'll drop to 1 HP, gain if attacking. This is really when things start to amp up. Because he'll turn into the legendary Super Sniffer. Oh, he can also dodge your attacks sometimes, but I think that might just be amusing. Oh yeah, and also I'm pretty sure, yeah, his Kamehameha does a little bit more damage, and it can also break blocks. It can also break blocks. Ooh, this is a big one. Come on, what is this? Oh, never mind. Alright, must have been some sort of glitch. Never seen that before. He can do a really big attack where he'll go teleport up into the air and charge a giant ball of ki. Right, like the Spirit Bomb. This one, it's almost a guaranteed kill. But thankfully, if you kill the Super Sniffer before he actually, before it lands, it doesn't do any damage. Which, thankfully, it also leaves a giant crater in the ground when it does that. Killing him, sorry, I said killing him will provide you with most of the stuff you need for that game. Provide with hermit beans, which are actually really good food source, right? They're effectively like enchanted golden apples. They give more hunger, more saturation, but most importantly, they give regen 2 for a few seconds, which is really cool. He also gives Evil King leggings and Evil King armor set here. I find that personally pretty useless. He also drops Cosmolite, which is the same tier. It's the same level of quality as your armor set Dimlight or Iridium. He also drops Accursed Souls and Gaionite. He also dropped his belt, but his belt is pretty useless. We'll come back to him later. Where's the wasteland? Looks like it. Did he destroy the wasteland? Never mind. Yeah, this can also happen. Don't worry, waste it. Okay, whatever. And then the next boss on our list is the Trial Guardian. Now, the Trial Guardian will spawn in a Trial Spire. This is a lot more oh yeah, also forgot they also both drop their own music sheet, and the Super Snip also drops this. It doesn't really do that much damage, but it is cool. Also, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it follows your line of sight for a little bit after you launch it. Now, the next boss is the Trial Guardian. He spawns in this structure, the Trial Spire. It contains a lot of good loot, and I do highly recommend actually clearing the structure. Just be careful of the dungeon effigies. One of their attacks specifically does far too much damage than it should. You can choose to break this. I recommend breaking the spawners, because unless you get really unlucky, you're probably gonna get all of the dim light or whatever resources it drop when you first clear the structure, specifically because of the top room. God damn. Yeah. These guys are not immune to ranged attacks. You'll find out why this is important later. The structure also spawns with dungeon sentries, which they take a little bit to actually charge up to like lock onto you, but once they do, they'll start firing at you. Anyways, once you've broken all the spawners, you can keep going through the floors. By the way, on the I'm not the second to top or the one just before the top floor, you'll find a room that you'll break blocks in. That's actually a puzzle room. I did not figure out that puzzle for so long. Yeah, this one? No, the one below this one, okay? The one below this one is just such a bad one. Yeah, this is a top floor. It has so much loot. Lots of gold, lots of topaz, emerald, and again some damium, which you're gonna need a decent amount of. Some rubies, basically all the basic stuff, as well as a bunch of dim light and more just general assorted loot that you'll find everywhere. Here, this is also a good way to get your initial few iridiums, because you need a lot of this stuff. Spoilers there. You unlock each of these. You unlock this by just using a trial key on the trial keystone. There's also a little balcony room, I think. Where is it? Here it is. There's a little balcony room here. Never mind, not here. Yeah, actually, it is here. There's a little balcony room that's okay by these, which you can go around. Let me open the door here. Then, if you open the door here, this is also another pretty good loot room. It has diamond blocks and it has a bunch of resource blocks, as well as a big double chest with some enchanted armor and some pretty good loot in general. Right now, when you reach the top of the structure, that's actually not where the boss is. The boss has actually been hiding all this time, just right at the bottom. Now, the way you unlock the boss again, just use the spire key on the spire keystones here. You'll fall right for it. Yeah, I set up the arena. Alright, now, then you'll find this a barrel with a spire key and a guardian padlock. Right click on the padlock with the key, and you'll summon Trial Guardian Bullwall with the spire. He's actually immune to ranged attacks. I'm pretty sure he's the only boss like this or mob in general. What are you doing? Alright, this is. Oh, wait, I'm creative. You guys saw nothing. Anyways, spire key onto the spire keystone. You'll spawn Trial Guardian. We'll walk out the spire. Now, while he is pretty easy, you do have to get in close. You drop that explosion attack as well as two others. You really gotta watch out for. Yep. Because those red particles, any attacks with red particles, oh, like that one, those attacks ignore armor. This one's pretty easy. This one's the best attack to really get some damage in. Anyways, those red attack with red particles, they are using the same effect as sticking blood, alright? Then it will cause you to take damage outside of your armor. So even if you have amazing armor, you'll still take most of your health off in just one of those attacks. So really gotta be careful. He also has a third one of those which is the hardest to avoid besides maybe the rest. Okay, he also has multiple phases. Once you get him below 50, the lamps in the floor will turn orange, and his attacks will be sped up, and some of them will have different coloration. You can even see this on the palm of his hand. turn from being purely blue to having a small, almost purple. Oh, yep, there it is. Will spawn stagnant souls, which you can actually attack, but again, see, it did a full row of heart, and even though it was god armor, it was the best armor in the small pack, right? And then after you kill him, he drops some of the best loot. All right. First off, he drops the Fair Staff, which is what you'll need to actually access the next boss. After the Fair Staff, he also drops them like nuggets, health spec, upgrades, as well as drop health spec upgrades, as well as Conlight and Void upgrades. These are the next tier up, effectively, of armor. He also drops Guardian Head, which are really useful because they give you +1 range. It's not a curse mark if you're crazy. The spellbook's pretty just fun to mess around with. A decent shield and the energized core, which makes it so that you take 50 less damage from explosion, which is really useful unless you have unless you use other abilities constantly. Like, for example, if you have everything set up to one key to use your armor ability and your dash ability and stuff, it'll use that. So if you have it like that, is kind of eh. But if you don't, this is actually a fantastic charm. Right? Who also drops fire keys, so you can guarantee chat, so you can infinitely keep farming him, which I do recommend, as things could just things could do a lot. He also in the structure is one of the best for farming XP, as the dungeon effigies drop lots and lots of XP. Right, moving on to our final boss, and this boss is actually quite unique. It being one where not only do you have to find multiple structures for. First, first you'll have to find. First, you'll have to find a dungeon. Now, Chthonic dungeons spawn randomly in the Nether. Um, they have a lot. They have a lot of stuff. Yeah, don't worry about this. They spawn randomly in the Nether. They contain two mob types, which we go the conjurelings here, which you can kill to drop Chthonic crystals, but you can just buy these. And also to get the conjureling armor set, which is some of the best in the game, just based off of raw stats, but also doesn't have any items. They also have Gatmancers, which are the ranged units in this. They will again, most things in this mod pack, take a little bit to lock onto you before starting to fire, but when they fire, they do lots of damage really quickly. The Conjurelings also have one of the same attacks as the Child Guardian, the one in which they, which is the one in which, uh, which is the one in which they summon those Chthonic spheres. You can also find rooms like this that contain plenty of good loot, like again some of the dice, some more, and also most importantly, iridium, which you're gonna need a lot of when you are upgrading to the next tier, I guess. This is also where you find. You also might have seen some clips of TERRAMITY here, and one thing you'll notice is some of them, there's an arcade room. Oh yeah, there's also a Conroe armor set here, along with these decorative blocks. Where is it? Where is it? I am so lost. Anyway, but sometimes, if you're lucky, you'll find what's called a gambling room. This room, what I like to call it, a gambling room. In this room, you'll have a lot of arcade machines, which you can use, which you can bet things on to gain loot. There's also a decent amount of hidden loot. Just either being off to the side, or you have to break some bookshelves to get it. Overall, a pretty easy structure. You just gotta wait. You just gotta make sure to not get overwhelmed. Yep, here it is. You just gotta make sure to not get overwhelmed by conjurelings. Sorry, by too many conjurelings at the same time. And make sure to always go in guns blazing to not give the major time to prepare. After killing these, you'll drop something called occult fabric. This is what you need. Now, teleporting over, you can either use the perish staff that we got earlier. You can either use the perish staff to heal it. Oh my god. What technical difficulties. Anyways, you can either use, you have two options to make it to the nether roof, which is the next place you need to go. You can either get lucky and find what's called a breach. These also have lots of side crystals. Yes, you can mine these, and they do drop 9% crystals. That's why I said that getting the crystals from loot chests or just from mobs is kind of useless. They're also in the dungeon itself. The dungeon itself is also one of these. Or you can use your pair staff, right click on bedrock, get decayed bedrock, which you will need to do anyway, so that's what I prefer to do. As it's shorter and you get a material that you're gonna need anyway to continue on and get some of the better loot. Then, this is it. This is a Masonic Cathedral. You'll find it randomly on the nether roof. You can't miss it. You just gotta explore for a little bit. This is the final, second kind of final boss of the spawn pack. It's the final boss of the spawn pack, and in my opinion, one is the funniest. This is where you truly get to the end game of Terramity. This is it. Now some mobs will passively spawn in these structures, like echo spiders and these sunkers, sorry, which will also sunkers will also spawn in the dungeon. They're pretty harmless. They do a decent amount of damage, but not that much. If especially if you have protection, but I'm just doing this raw. I got nothing except for a bunch of scabs, the gold medal. There's no for charms, and now, oh yeah, I forgot to mention you can't hold guns when you have something in your offense. And this is where everything truly starts. Right click on the flap, and you get the shadow wizard. Enchant the Merlin and Sorceress Cersei. Now, both of them are extremely annoying. Jenny, I hate these people. Oh god. That's why. That is why I hate them so much. They just do too much damage. Also, they summon conjurers. They do true damage, which means even if you have absolutely amazing armor, they'll still do a lot of damage to you, especially Sorceress Cersei. Yep, those red spheres right there. Those red spheres. Be careful, because I actually recommend doing multiplayer, to be honest, just because it ends up being a lot better of an experience. To the lag. But yeah, also beware of lag spikes, because sometimes the particles can just get out of hand sometimes. It's kind of rare, but do be careful. And that's also good. Now, the true final boss begins. The souls will begin to collect in the center of the arena and summon Archmage Gundle. Yeah, that's exactly right. Welcome to TERRAMITY. This is just silly. He has multiple ranged and close-up attacks. I recommend staying far away from him. Oh god. You can also turn the arena into Kasonic. Oh lord! You can also teleport to your location, as seen there. Oh god, he just does so much damage. He does so much damage. Oh my lord, leave him alone. You can also summon minions, as always. Okay. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where did he go? I'm scared. Why is he invisible? Where is he? Oh, there he is. I'm in danger. Shotgun, 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 shot. Oh no, he's one shot, he's one shot, he's one shot. Hell yeah, boy. Oh, why are you still here? What are you doing? I just defeated your boss. Go, shoot, go, shoot. Bug, die. Anyways, now is like this is where things start to get goaded. All right, he drops lots of things. He drops lots of things. Okay, mainly the golden medal and the swag glasses. These are amazing, amazing buffs. They give 10% damage health, 10% damage reduction, and max health. And this one does the same thing with even more max health and increased height, which just makes traversing a lot easier. He also drops Fortune's Favors, a bunch of materials, and probably Iridium. He also drops his pointed hat, that a music sheet, more occult fabric, so you can keep battling him, Iridium, and Anti-Prism. Anti-Prism is also really useful. But don't be fooled by the drop amounts. The drop amount says it's really like low chances won't get the much, but as we said, I got 21 of it with 0 looting. Yeah, anti-prism, sorry, are used in a lot of things. Not many actual tools, just the scarf and the sacred speed bracelet, but they are used to craft the final ingredients of the spot. Varium, Nixium, and Exodium. These are used to craft the final weapons and armors in the mod pack. Um, but what's all this for? Why have all this loot if you're not going to use it? Well, that's what they gave us. And thankfully for us, they've got just the update. Now, this might be a little bit familiar. I upgraded my gear a little bit. Now, this might be a little bit familiar, but you said, well, what's all this for? Simple. One last fight. What am I doing? It's just super sniffer. What am I doing? It's just super sniffer. Not that deep. Well, dear viewer, you are about to find out. Hopefully he doesn't die. That'd be so awkward if he just died anyways. I think that should be enough. Never mind. Ultra sniffer. This is a real final boss of currency. Now, the Ultra Sniffer is broken. I'm telling it to you now. He is not fair at all. He's actually half the reason why I'm not. Oh God! Oh! He actually has the reason why I'm, instead of using a regular amount of charms, I'm over charming. Ow, 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 ow. I'm over charming. He is absolutely bust. Oh, no. Please, please don't crash. Please don't crash. Please. Oh, alright, folks. Oh, but there is. Oh, oh, aura. He's got aura, bro. He's got aura. Now, the Ultra Sniffer is like the Super Sniffer, but everything's ranked up to 2 billion. And I feel because I'm look at this, okay? I just want to tell you right now, this is, you're not allowed to have this many. You're only allowed to have like 3 or 4. I'm over charmed. I actually have some of the stuff that you get from him, like this Ultra Sniffer and some other stuff. That's the $5. That's it. He drops prismatic jewels, more anti-iridium, black matter, anti-prism, music sheets. Honestly, it's bad. He also drops dragon bands, which gives them 20% damage buff. He drops a lot of the same stuff as the also super. He also drops lots of senzu beans. The music sheets again. These three. This one being really useful. This one being really useful. This one, and my favorite thing of all time, the Kamehameha from this mod. Second. Now, what does Kamehameha do? You're about to find out. What does Kamehameha do? Kam Kamehameha do? Says this is what it does. You go. Now it is just a wee bit of a small explosion, but that's understandable. It's just a mod. It's pretty balanced with what it does. For as long as, well, explosions wise, anyways. It's also based on Terraria. That's why it's called Terramity. Also, fun fact: the Sword of the Imprisoned. If you right click, it'll strike lightning on the ground, which I just find really cool. Now, since this is just seems like a little bit of an underwhelming way to end an episode, I always like to end things off with a bang. Technical, difficult. Oh, God damn it! This whole thing set up for you to just come out and trigger it. Nope, man. Whatever. Oh, they should not have given me this much power. Pray for my PC. Oh god, oh god, oh lord, oh lord, oh no, oh no, oh. That's kind of peaceful. Wait, can you kill a black hole? Wait, can you kill the black hole? Actually, it has a health bar. So, alright, well, I'll be seeing you guys next time. Hopefully with a much, oh, look at the map. Anyways, hopefully with a much less, jank review. See you later. It's been nice knowing you.